The slot. Williams was looking there, closed off. Comes back. Boy, that head is on a swivel and is really impressive. And now a touchdown throw to Brendan Rice. Brendan Rice up.
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, and it can also get you 10% off of activelyblack.com. Activewear, their greatness is in their DNA. Check them all out. They got a whole, thing with a bunch of the Colorado Buffaloes. They got Shadori Sanders, Travis Hunter, who both had huge days today in their debuts with the Buffaloes. They have that. They also have Muhammad Ali collection. They also have stuff for Allen Iverson as well. So check that out for men and women. So check that out, please. PORSBR is the Twitter handle, and also that promo code as well. USC, this is just kind of a quick recap show, if you will. 66-14 over Nevada. I think you saw the full arsenal this week. And then you kind of saw a little bit more what you really need to see. I think that, there were some big plays in this game given up. They gave a couple big pass plays, but that was pretty much it. And I did have somebody left a comment. If I can find that comment that I had, and it's from Walter Clark. Thank you for watching the show and leaving a comment. All comments are welcome, so we try to answer those as well. How does Utah play on the road? Utah is no question about it, Walter. Utah comes to the Coliseum later on, and they are a team that really, it's night and day when they play on the road and at home. They play great against USC, played poorly last year against UCLA in the Rose Bowl. So definitely got you on that one. And these are all references to last week. Do you really believe that USC was going to lose the game? No, I didn't. And Gentry is still on a pitch count and recovering, and still recovering, and is on a snap count. That does make sense. I just, obviously you want to see more. They have to look at it in a bigger picture. Anytime USC gives up big plays, we're going to go back and say, here we go again. And then you mentioned the snap count. They were on the snap count to the point where he and Mason Cobb didn't even play today. So they didn't even play today. They didn't even dress. Willie Brown didn't dress either. So that's a whole story right there. I don't think the Willie Brown thing is a big deal. I think it's more of him just needing to get acclimated from a running back position to a wide receiver position. So I'm not really worried about that. But back to the game with the Wolfpack and the Trojans. Caleb Williams, 18 of almost a carbon copy of last week, right? 18 of 24, 319 yards, 5 touchdowns. Miller Moss got into the action, seven passes, and then also had a touchdown pass as well. A great catch and run by Deuce Robinson, who got his first touchdown of his tenure, being the weapon, if you will, because he's classified as a weapon, not a tight end, with USC. Well, I did like to see, and then people talked about all these things about USC and, Big Ten. I mean, I just watched the game with the Big Ten, and I got Nebraska playing Minnesota. It was 10-3 in the fourth quarter. I just don't see how that's it's 10-3 in the fourth quarter. I mean, geez. I mean, you need more than 10 points to beat USC. But Marshawn Lloyd is going to be a problem. 7 carries, 76 yards. Quentin Joyner had a nice touchdown run. Caleb Williams obviously got in the action for 3 carries for 42 yards. And then Austin Jones had a 12-yard run as well. So they were 20 for 210, if you will, in this game against Nevada. Obviously, Nevada is not one of the best top-tier teams in the country, but you still want to see the dominance there with the offensive line. So really good job with running the football. Was really impressed with that. That's the first thing that Lincoln Riley wants to do, is run the football. And they ran the football really well in this game. And a guy who we always try to give props to Taj Washington, because Taj Washington always is he's just always in a play, right? He always makes plays, and he just makes so many plays. It's just fun to watch him make plays. Um, it's just cool to watch him. He always is in the thick of things. He's just that kind of energizer bunny. Whenever you need a play, whenever you like, all the weapons that they have, they always find. He's always in the right place at the right time. Makes a big play. Had a big 45-yard catch today. Two catches. Three catches for two touchdowns. Deuce Robinson got one. I mentioned that. Brendan Rice had one on a Caleb Williams scramble, and then on a nice little the first touchdown of the game was Caleb Williams to Zachariah Branch, and then we had Michael Jackson, and he actually did the Michael Jackson dance in the end zone. So if you're gonna have the name Michael Jackson, you might as well embrace it, right? So he had that as well. They had 25 receptions. Let's see here for 453 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different receivers were able to get the ball. Cable Williams had a fumble. I don't think he did not lose. He did not lose that fumble. He fumbled the football today. Shane Lee, I mentioned Cobb and Gentry didn't play. Shane Lee did 10 catches, 1 sack, and a tackle for loss. Kalen Bullock did a really good job of breaking up passes on the field. He was second in tackles. Damani Jackson, we're still waiting for him to kind of click it, but he's starting to play more football. Most football he's played in a long time. He gave up a 70-yard touchdown, a 70-yard play in the game. That was a tough play to watch. If he just had more awareness, he probably picks that ball off. But it is what it is. I love Brandon Shelby. Good job. Got a sack and a strip sack that turned into a touchdown for the Trojans. And Jaleel Muhammad continues to be that menace on the outside, right? He's doing a great job of rushing the passer, if you will. So good job by him. Solomon Byrd, I thought played well as well in this game. And then the one guy who I would say kind of struggled. Who was struggling today? Gave up a big play today. They still have not. This team still hasn't had a. They got their first turnover today, but they didn't get an interception yet. I'm trying to think who had that. Who said? Let's see here. Sacks. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think five sacks in this game. But for the most part, dominating performance. Bear Alexander has some plays that NFL scouts are going to be salivating for. Same thing with Caleb Williams as well too. So a lot of tackles for loss in this ball game. Good job by the Bruins overall. And like I said, this is not a great opponent, but you want to see them destroy bad opponents. And it's good to see a good defensive score. You're seeing them use that old Lawrence Taylor when they come around the back end of the quarterback. They are gonna grab them on the inside with left hand and then use that hand to come swipe down for those fumbles. They're trying to create sack fumbles consistently, so that's always good to see as well. Too, they're aware of it. They're trying to make these big plays, and they're getting closer and closer to getting more and more of those as they continue down the road here. Let's see here, and then I do think I think Quentin Joyner is going to be Quentin Joyner. Barlow had a nice run. I think Quentin Joyner could be, if they ever had injuries to the running back position, he could be the guy who really kind of takes that mantle just a little bit. Don't know how he is in pass pro, but he definitely has been a guy who just did a really good job in this game as far as just being explosive. He's a really explosive back, no question about it. So really cool to see what he has been able to do in a short period of time at SC. Getting ready for Stanford now. Talk about that all week. This kind of more of a recap show. Next show we'll have like news and notes, and then we'll also have the rewatch. The rewatch on Tuesday. I'll rewatch the game and kind of give you my takes on the game, and then on Wednesday we'll do like all 22 stuff like we did last week as well too. So this is like I said, big game. All these games are big. It's not about just winning football games. It's really about how you win these football games, how you look winning these football games. And if they can continue to look like this next week, they play Stanford. Stanford played well last week. The Stanford head coach has been a guy who has been a pretty good offensive guy, if you will. And he's been able to score points, move the football wherever he's coached. So another big challenge, but we will preview Stanford later on in this game, later on in the week. But I think one thing that's really happening here too with the Trojans too is they becoming something of, I don't, Lincoln Riley has not lost a home game yet. And I think that this is like becoming a place where, okay, SC's at home, just chalk it up as a W. And then you want that to continue for recruits. Wrong. We want to continue for their ability to just try to contend for a national championship. Just makes all the sense in the world for them to become a dominant home team. You have to be a dominant home team to be considered a national champion and get into that playoff as well too. So the playoff is only 4 teams. Next year it's gonna be the 12 teams. It'd be nice if it was this year, but it's not. So you gotta be ready for that. But this game really wasn't in doubt. It was more you just wanted to see them sustain and play long periods of time of getting defensive stops. All right. In this game, what were they on third down? On third down, it doesn't give me this one. ESPN's not giving me the third down stat. Not giving me third down. Team stats, maybe some team stats. Let's just check out how the defense did on third down, because that's really cool. You got a chance to see some really good quarterback play. Tennessee quarterback played today well. Caleb Williams, Drake May played well as well. Shadori Sanders had a decent game. All of a sudden, that game, and I guarantee you, College Game Day or whoever will be in Colorado when USC goes to Colorado. Third down efficiency, they were 5 for 18. 5 for 18, 2 for 4 on fourth down. So that's what you want. That's what you want. As far as that defensively, 5 for 18, you'll take that any day of the week. As far as that goes, the rushing yards, they only gave 49 rushing yards in this game. And that's pretty much it. I mean, they scored so many points. They only had the ball for 24 seconds, USC, 24 minutes. And still, I think it was Anthony Beavers. Anthony Beavers was the guy who really struggled today. So he really was a guy who struggled today and late in the game. So you never know where the injuries will happen. You don't want to be in that situation where he has to be on the field, and that could be a problem too if it's an issue. So if the issue continues, but USC 66, Nevada 14, dominant performance by the Trojans. We have to see if that can continue because as the season goes on, these opponents get harder and harder for the Trojans, and it starts next week with Stanford. Stanford may not be a great ball club, but at the end of the day, it's a division opponent, conference opponent. Last time around, they're going to the ACC. I'm sure USC is not going to play them anymore after the season, so they would love to have that last laugh against the Trojans. All right, 66-14. Fight on. We'll see you next time for the next show. A little news and notes from the game. We'll talk. We'll get that show out to you as soon as possible, and then the rewatch. Don't make sure you come back for the rewatch because it's always something. You always find something new when you rewatch these games. Good job by the Trojans today. Fight on.